Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Emmy the Cat Lady, and we're back with Wasteland Biographies. A day later than usual, I do apologise for that. Woke up pretty under the weather yesterday. Part of the fun of being a chronic illness girly, in inverted commas, is that you just never know how you're going to be on any given day, and your immune system, well, my immune system's made of tissue paper, so if there's any little bugs or anything going around, I tend to end up picking them up. But feeling a bit better today, so we're getting stuck in because I've been really looking forward to this one. So this biography ties in with what we've been talking about in the Immortality and Fallout series and the Science Fallout on a Saturday about the ghouls. So I thought it would be an interesting one since he was featured in that, and if you've played Fallout 3 in depth, you maybe know exactly where we are right now. We'll get into that in a second. But you might have seen that there was a non-feral ghoul in a place with a creepy obelisk and things. So that's where we are today. So this is the Dunwich Building. It's tucked away in a corner. So we're right here in the very kind of southwest corner of the map. So Girdershade is kind of directly north of here. Jocko's Pop and Gas Stop. And Warrington Station, train yard, Tenpenny Tower over to the east there. And then the Rockland car tunnel down here. So we're tucked away in a corner, so it's quite far away from most of the main plot areas that you would go to for the main story of Fallout 3. So, you know, if you haven't kind of come here, you haven't heard of this place, then this is going to be quite interesting, because we've got a bit of kind of supernatural, paranormal kind of lore going on. So we are talking about a man named Jaime today, and he can be found here in the Dunwich Building, which you can kind of see already is a bit of a horror show. We've got some ammo boxes, blood on the floor, skeletons, more skeletons, and a bunch of tin cans and things. So there's a pile of kind of holotapes here as well. We'll just pick those up for the time being, and we're going to go through them bit by bit. So who is Jaime Palabras? So he is a scavenger that came from what the official game guide calls the mid-wastelands with his father. And they worked together scavenging ruins, and that's how they kind of made their money. But at one point, his father found this mysterious old book, which he tried to sell to the Brotherhood of Steel Scribes here in the capital Wasteland. They weren't interested, though, so he then decided to take the book and return it to where it came from and where it belonged. And eventually, after a while, he basically abandoned Jaime. So after a while, Jaime set out to find his father, and he started making journals about his expedition because he believed that something about his father changed when he found this book, and he's angry that his father has abandoned him. So let's have a listen to Jamie's own words about that in the first journal
entry. Why the hell would
entry.
he come all the way out here? Dad's been a little nuts for some time now, but not like this. Leaving me in that crappy old hospital without waking me, without a goddamn flashlight. I made enough selling the meds we scrounged to have kept us both fed at the colony for weeks. Now I'm almost out of rations, my shoes are pretty much destroyed, and I'm still chasing the old coot. By my last reckoning, he was headed south.
There we go. So, yep, his father abandoned him in a hospital, didn't even leave him a flashlight to find his way out. But he's started to follow the trail, moving on, you know, to find where his father is. So you can progress through this place. It is creepy as heck. There's skeletons literally everywhere. And on his way, he did encounter a group of people. Oh, there's a ghoul there. I've got the ghoul mask, so the ghouls are friends. Dear. So he encountered a group of people and decided to travel with them for a little while in the hope that he might pick up a new lead for where his father went. Except unfortunately, they turned out to be not so good people. They actually turned out to be raiders, and they killed the family over a sack of rotten vegetables. So at this point, Jaime decided to leave them. So he made the decision, I have to get out here as soon as possible. So we've got another 2 journal entries that give us his perspective on that.
Maybe I shouldn't have waited so damn long to start tracking him. Trail's gone cold. Gonna wander with these guys a while. They say they wander the area. Maybe somebody's seen Dad.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, find these people, we're gonna travel with them for a while until...
These guys aren't who I thought they were. Jesus, they killed that family for a sack of rotten vegetables. Getting out of here next chance I can without catching a bullet.
Yep, so very brief, but he's just like, yep, that's a problem. I need to get out of here and get away from these people, but he has to do it in such a way that they're not going to shoot him. So I'm hovering near the entrance, and that's for a reason. So yeah, basically after they attacked a trade caravan, Jaime took his chance, helped the traders kill the raiders. So the traders gave him some food and just happened to have seen where his father went and that he still had the book. So let's listen to number 4.
Hit a caravan today. Trev didn't see the kid and got popped. I took care of Tawny right then and put one in Thor before he saw her fall. That earned me some grub from the traders. Even better, they saw Dad. He was in pretty rough shape and still has the goddamn book. Trader says it gave him the creeps. Me too. But it's good to know he's still alive. Still headed south.
There we go. So, yep, he's still got the book and knows that he's heading south. And there is a... I think it's this way. Yeah, so if we head up these stairs, I'm pretty sure there's some ghouls hanging around. But there's also... That actually spooked me a little bit. I knew it was going to happen and it still spooked me. So yeah, magic door opening all by itself. So that's lovely. Yeah, and the place is full of ghouls. So there's feral ghouls literally everywhere you look. And it's also, there's skeletons everywhere you look as well, which is interesting. So he finds snares that his father left. So he knows that he's kind of heading in the right general direction to find the man. And then he spots a building in the distance and assumes that's where his father went, and that building is this building. So, final journal entry we've got here.
He must have been trying to trap food here. I recognize his snares. I can make out a building on the horizon. That must be where he headed. If not, at least I get a roof tonight.
Yep, so he's like, yep, I think that's where he was going. I'm going to go check it out, and at least, if nothing else, I can sleep under a solid roof. And yeah, my character's kind of high level at 19, so there are a handful of glowing ones around. Beware, that's one of the trap terminals that'll explode in your face, so don't touch it. Okay, that's a bit weird. Right, this is all collapsed, blocked off. So now we need to move into the next section of this location. Yeah. What happened here? Does that skeleton have hair? Hang on. I don't know, but it really does look like it's got hair. Anyway, not what we're here for. I think this is the next... Nope, not quite the next journal entry. Just had to backtrack a little bit. Sorry, Three Dog. Shh. Sorry, Three Dog, yep. I missed a journal entry here, so number 6. That's the one that I was missing. So, yep, we finds his way into this building and leaves his journals around. So let's have a listen to number 6 to see what he thinks of the Dunwich Building.
Don't like the look of this place. Don't like the smell. Gives me the creeps. Don't want to risk a shot at the crows till I know what's in there. Sneaking in tonight.
There we go. Yep, so he's like, yep, I don't really know what's happening there. It's all a bit creepy and uncomfortable, so he's gonna he doesn't want to fire off his weapon until he knows the score, so he's being a bit more cautious, which, sensible thing to do if you're going into creepy ruins in the Fallout universe is just to be careful. So just going to make our way back round to... Okay, so we now come to this little entrance in this room that is... somebody's obviously been painting in here. We come to this room, and this is the point where Jaime discovers the zombies that he's been warned about, that they are real and that they're here. So, place is full of feral ghouls, as we can see. And yeah, I'll let Jaime give his thoughts first.
The raiders told spook stories about zombies in the ruins. Never saw anything like that where I come from. But Lord help me, they're real. Not quite what Thor said, but close. These things look... I think they really used to be people.
Yeah, so this is him apparently discovering feral ghouls for the first time. And because Jaime is a ghoul, we don't actually know how long ago this all happened, how long ago these were all recorded. It could have been fairly soon after the bombs, it could have happened... 20, 30 years after the bombs, potentially. It could have been quite a long time ago, which is interesting. But yeah, he's like, I didn't think they were real, but I've seen them, now I know they're real. It's a bit creepy. So we now need to go into the next section of this, which is the Forsaken Dunwich Ruins. So, yep, we've got a set of stairs here. And we are probably about to encounter, there is going to be some... There you go. So, yep, next little spooky episode, so a little flashback there. And then this guy appears, so we saw a real person, and then we've now got a glowing one, so... Yeah, there's definitely something creepy going on here. And then our next note from Jaime is around here somewhere, along with some more of our ghoul friends. There it is. So there's also some stuff on this terminal, but we're only really interested in Jaime's personal log. So, yep, at this point, Jaime has actually found his father, who's completely unbothered by the feral ghouls and seems to be turning into a ghoul himself, and the book was found nearby. So, Jaime decides he's going to keep the book and stops to have a little rest. So, have a listen to journal entry number 8.
God help me. I found Dad today. I didn't think it was him, but... the face... The zombies didn't touch him. I think he was becoming like them. Didn't know it was him until I found that old book near him. No more killing. I just need to go. Can't forget the book. All I have left of him. It's warm against the stone. I'll just rest a while.
Yeah, so you probably noticed a slight difference in Jaime's voice just at the end of that recording. And if you've spoken to any of the non-feral ghouls in any of the Fallout games, you know what's happening. So there's definitely something unnatural happening here, and he's becoming a ghoul, but there is more to it. So now we need to find our way through this part of the ruins. Hello. We get to the next section, but yep, more skeletons everywhere. Place is a complete wreck, and clearly lots of people met their end here in one way or another. Hi guys. So it's a bit of a nightmare actually, just getting around this place to find the right location. This is where we need to go, I'm pretty sure. Yep. And then, oh. Yep, I think this might be the way. Yep. Here we go. Final section, which is called the virulent underchambers. So that sounds nice and pleasant. Let's go. And you can see this place isn't really in great shape either. But we do have final journal entry. So we are going to head down further into the place before we listen to this final recording. And oh, sorry, didn't mean to knock you down there, but yeah, we can drop down. So there is rads in here. I've got God mode on just so that I don't die of radiation poisoning while I'm talking, essentially. And then we've got more ghouls pottering about, and then we open the door and we head down some more stairs. So it goes down quite deep. And if you remember, Dunwich, the company in Fallout, is Dunwich borers, so like drilling and quarrying and things is kind of what the company does. At least that's what the public facing version of the company does. However, there's more to it. So we eventually come down and we come into this like cave system that's been dug out, and we're back into this chamber. So say hello to Jaime and his girlfriends. So you can see he's hostile because he's not a feral ghoul. Because I've got the ghoul mask, all the feral ghouls are fine, but he's not feral, he's a ghoul, so he's hostile because he's always going to be hostile. So yeah, this is where Jaime has ended up, right in the virulent underchambers with this obelisk with some skulls in it and some tentacles and half of a naked woman.
I guess it was nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing. So here's Jaime. He's naked, wearing clothes, and he has a Chinese assault rifle, and I say it would normally attack you on sight. And they're all basically well, you're really worshipping that statue. You're really into that, goodness. Look. Oh, God to love Bethesda's physics engine and things and all the glitchy, stupid things that happen. But yeah, this guy is really into worshipping this obelisk. Although
I've got better things to do.
But yeah, Jaime's ended up here. He's ended up a ghoul. And we find his final journal entry just a wee bit outside on the way into this room. So let's have a wee listen.
Knife. Sharp knife to send him to deep temple. Flay and say my words. Abdul comes again on the feast of the weaker. Feast for the deep temple. Born again. Here. Al-Hazared. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, there's nothing here. I'm just actually gonna take this guy out though because he's not gonna shut up. So yeah, bye Jaime. Yeah, so very, very creepy, and he drops a finger if you've got Lawbringer, because the game does consider him, he's one of the few characters named NPCs that have very evil karma. So game says he's a bad guy, so take from that what you will, but it is very creepy what he's just said. It sounds like gibberish, but there is some interesting references there that are worth talking about, I think. So obviously while we've been walking about, I didn't catch the one, there is one where some like desk fans and coffee cups and things get knocked over as well, but we did see a couple of kind of spooky, supernatural, paranormal events with flashbacks of a pre-war person and doors opening by themselves and all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely some creepy supernatural stuff going on, and you can... Yeah, I'll try and turn the volume up. See, there is some creepy whispering going on in this room as well, which does sound like it's saying Abdul or something like that. So there's you might be able to hear it in the recording, hopefully you can, but yeah, some creepy whispers here. So what's actually going on in this room, in this place? I mean, there's lots of kind of paranormal stuff. There's whispering. You can sometimes hear like footsteps right behind you, even though there's nothing there. There's a place where there's a severed head sitting on a table, but that one's a bit glitchy and it disappears. But you know, we've got creepy whispers and we've got things going on. So what's it all about? Hi. And if you know your H.P. Lovecraft, then you know that the name of this place and a lot of the details about this place come from the Dunwich Horror, which is a short story that is included in the Cthulhu mythos by H.P. Lovecraft. So it's kind of classic, creepy sort of literature. And the book that has been talked about, it's not mentioned by name in any of Jaime's entries, but we do know what the name of this book is, which is, it's called the Crivbecna. Because you can actually find it. If you have Point Lookout, you can get a quest to find this book, and you have the option of returning the book here to the obelisk. So it's the one quest that can send you to this building, and that destroys the book, or you give it to Obadiah Blackwall, the old man, the creepy old man in the wheelchair, who wants it because he is part of the cult around this. So we'll talk a wee bit more about that in a second. But the other kind of reference is Abdul al-Hazred is mentioned in the final log there, and that is actually the name of the author, fictional author of the Necronomicon, which is what the Crivbecna is based on. The Necronomicon is a big part of the Lovecraft Cthulhu mythos and all the stories and things around that. So Abdul al-Hazred is the person who wrote the Necronomicon in the fictional universe of the Cthulhu mythos. So you know, quite an interesting thing there, and that's obviously based on a lot of kind of supernatural horror and stuff like that. So but also, side note, you do get the melee weapons bobblehead here as well, so it's another reason that you potentially want to visit. So this is a shortcut back outside, like your Skyrim exit, as it were. But yeah, lots of creepy things happen here, and unfortunately Jaime has ended up a ghoul and a servant of Ugqualtoth, which is the being that is being worshipped by the Dunwich people, and that's what this is all kind of focused on, which is interesting. I think this is the way we became in. Yeah. So yeah, all very creepy and very, very interesting, which, you know, I do like. I mean, they don't do a lot of kind of supernatural stuff in the Fallout games, but there's a little bit, and I do quite like that there's a little bit, having a little bit of spookiness and something that can't really be explained by, you know, radiation and science and whatever. I think that's quite fun. But you know, following this man's journey and listening to his journal entries, they're very brief, but it does paint the picture of an interesting kind of progression, that he's just looking for his dad, which, you know, in Fallout 3, that's kind of what you're doing as well, at least for part of the game, is just looking for your dad. So, you know, he's on this mission and he's looking for leads, and he runs into some not so nice people, and then he runs into some nicer people that help him out, and he eventually comes here, and then he succumbs to the curse of Ugqualtoth, and the kind of general Lovecraftian horror that is happening here. And as I mentioned, if you've got Point Lookout and you play through that, one of the side quests that you can do is to get this book from a ritual site, the Crevecna, and take it back to a man called Obadiah Blackwall. And when you go and speak to him and agree to do that, then a woman approaches you and asks you to give the book to her. But if you do collect the book and go back, you find that she's been murdered, and it's a whole thing. But she leaves a note saying for you to bring the book here, seek a place called Dunwich, and that you push the book into the obelisk and it gets destroyed, or you take the book to Obadiah and he does potentially something very horrible with it. So it's a very interesting one, and obviously the Crevecna is a clear reference to the Necronomicon, and I do like that they've kind of embraced this, and that there is a real kind of spooky Lovecraftian influence on this quest. It's really, really good, and it's, you know, it suggests that the ghouls are connected to it in some way, that it might not all just be completely kind of natural mutation and exposure to radiation that's caused it. It could be that there's another factor, and it could be that there is something more supernatural going on. Maybe some of these people that were here were made into ghouls even before the bombs fell. Who knows? But we get a bit more of this in Fallout 4, where we have the Dunwich Borers quarry location that you can explore, and related to that is Hugo's Hole, so I'll maybe talk about that next week. But there's more that you can explore and learn about this company and about what they were up to, and about the creepy cult that's underlying it all. And one thing that I think is important to know is that while the Dunwich Building is here in the capital Wasteland, the short story, The Dunwich Horror, was actually set in Massachusetts. So again, it does kind of tie the kind of lore that we're getting here to the source material that it's a reference to, for it to show up again in Fallout 4, which is obviously within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So very, very interesting, and I do like a wee bit of spookiness. It's quite fun, because even when you know it's happening, the door opening still kind of spooked me a little bit. So you know, I think that can be quite fun. So let me know what you think. If you find this place, is there any other kind of spooky paranormal bits that you'd like me to cover on the channel? Because I do love all that kind of stuff. I think it's fun. Let me know, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.